If you've programmed in Rust, you've probably run into the two methods iter and into iter. But what's the difference between them, and why would you use one versus the other? In Rust, we use traits to describe shared behavior. Now, one very important trait to know from the standard library is into iterator, and you can use this to define how your type will be converted to an iterator. You'll also notice that this is what's actually implicitly used if you just simply use the for loop syntax in Rust. Now, there's only one required method for this trait, and that is the into iter method. So in short, if you see the into iter method, you're using the into iterator trait. Now, just like any trait in Rust, into iterator can be implemented on a given type, or a reference to that type, or a mutable reference to that type. For instance, here we're iterating by value over a vec of i32 called foo, and that's because we are just simply calling the into iter method directly on it. However, we can iterate over foo by reference, and that changes the type of the individual items that we're emitting to also be a reference. Now, in contrast, iter is not a required method of any trait. It's actually a concrete method that's commonly found on types in the standard library. Now, this is a convention from the Rust API guidelines to always mean iterate by reference. Notice that my LSP recognizes item as a reference to an i32, even though we didn't explicitly specify that foo should be passed by reference. So, in summary, use iter if you know you want to explicitly iterate by reference, or use into iter if you just want to use the natural into iter implementation for whatever type you're calling it on.